What's going on, my beautiful DC brothers and sisters? It's your boy, the Troop 31. Hit like, subscribe for all that DC goodness on that face, neck, and chest. And bruh, Deceased issue number 7, the final issue in the Deceased storyline. And bruh, Tom Taylor, all I gotta say is bruh, congrats. High five to you, a hug, a kiss to you, because you did a phenomenal job on this run. Now, if you haven't read Deceased, it's one of the best DC books that are available right now. They have Deceased and Deceased Unkillables. Go pick it up. Pick up all. If it says Deceased on it, and if it says DC, go pick it up right now because this entire run has just been phenomenal. And this issue in particular, Deceased issue number 7, the final issue, is seriously bittersweet because of everything that's been going on up to this final lead up. Uh, the fact that all the heroes, most of the heroes that we know and love, have just perished because of this whole anti-life equation, the virus that was perpetrated by the cyborg Darkseid and the Death Racer. I mean, and all this information will be explained if you go pick up Deceased, the first issue, and go pick up the hardcover. It should be available right now, and it's phenomenal. If you're a DC fan, if you love zombies, if you love gore, if you love drama, action, comedy, I mean, this feels like a motion picture. Like, it's that good, and that's because of the writing of Tom Taylor. Like, the guy knows how to pull on the heartstrings. The guy knows how to place humor in all the right places, and the guy knows how to fucking just impale you with such heart wrenching, gut wrenching panels and emotions, and the writing has been spectacular. So in this final issue, it starts off with the Amazos, who were created by Professor Ivo, and the Amazos are basically just going around the world globally and just like picking off everyone who's been affected by the anti-life equations. So they're just going around lasering all the infected people, and we find out that a cyborg actually found a cure. They found a cure, a vaccine to the anti-life equation. So it's up to Flash and Superman to just go around the world and try to cure everyone that's been infected. So there's a panel where we see Wally West and Superman just flying all around the world and running around the world and just trying to inject all these people, who have been infected, and at the same time making sure that the Amazos are not burning people alive. And at some points in this book, in this issue, they do that. Like they find like I think it's Superman and Batman. They find like scorched bodies all around, like in several areas, and they're like, oh my god, like I don't think we can make it. So it's literally a race against time. And not only that, not only do they have to deal with that, but they have to deal with Trigon, the devil himself, who's been risen out of hell, who wants to just destroy all of mankind. So not only are the Justice League dealing with the infected, but they also have to deal with Trigon, and that's where we go off to a different set of characters with Zatanna, Phantom Stranger, and John Constantine. And John Constantine, by the way, he's been the MVP of this entire run. Like, he's awesome, he's phenomenal, and there's a fantastic scene where John Constantine comes in with the Dr. Fate helmet, with the cloak of Ragman, and the cloak, obviously, it collects tortured souls, and he wears it to contain the power, right? So he uses this, and he also has the Spear of Destiny. So John Constantine is working with Zatanna and Phantom Stranger to try to take out Trigon, who wants to obviously destroy the world. And there's a fantastic scene where John Constantine goes up against the devil, goes up against the devil himself, Trigon, and just does everything he can to make sure that Trigon is destroyed. So he's doing some Dr. Fate powers, he's doing some Ragman powers. He's doing everything that he can to make sure that Trigon doesn't survive, right? And of course, in the book, spoiler alert, this is going to be a heavy spoiler issue. Trigon, obviously, because Trigon in the book is like 20 feet tall or some shit. Like, he's like Godzilla, King Kong. He puts his fist and just slams on John Constantine, and John Constantine is dead. And I'm just like, oh my god. It's like, so, and you're sad because you would think that John Constantine is going to defeat the devil. And if you've been reading up, and if you've been like, keeping up with this book, you're like, oh my god, it's Tom Taylor, like, is he really gonna like leave this issue on just like a sour note, a bittersweet note. You're like, oh my god, like this is the end. Like that's it. Like this entire run is not going to have a happy ending. But thankfully, we also find out that John Constantine not only enveloped the powers of Doctor Fate, of Ragman, and the Spear of Destiny, but he also enveloped the powers of Dead Man. So the fact that so when he dies, he comes back as the spirit of Dead Man and goes inside Trigon, which is such a badass moment too, because John Constantine, like I said, is the MVP of this book. So he goes inside Trigon, controls Trigon, and takes the Spear of Destiny and chucks it right in Trigon's heart. Oh, such a beautiful moment. And before that, obviously, because in this book, John Constantine and Zatanna have that special relationship, right? So before he does that, he says before he like kills Trigon and he goes up against Trigon, there's a really touching moment between John Constantine and Zatanna where they're like, listen, I think Zatanna says, hey John, go kick Trigon's ass. So as a beautiful moment, and that's a really great send off for John Constantine and Zatanna to have that really final moment between before John Constantine comes in and sacrifices himself. So again, like I said, John Constantine as Dead Man goes inside Trigon, plunges the Spear of Destiny into his heart, and that's it. Trigon dies, and you're like, oh, like it's so cool, it's so badass. But at the same time, it's bittersweet because you do not want John Constantine to die. But you know what? I love the fact that he does this because it's a great send off for the character in this storyline. Because John Constantine has always been known as a selfish character who doesn't really care about anything but himself, who's willing to sacrifice everyone else to get the job done. So the fact that Tom Taylor gave him this really heroic ending, it's a great fit. So after Trigon dies, we come back to Cyborg, who's developing a virus, who collects one of the Amazo's head, and they put a virus inside that head that controls the entire Amazo army. So Cyborg implants a virus in one of the Amazo's head, and he plants the virus in the Amazo's head, and that way the entire Amazo army just they become infected and they're all destroyed, and the Amazo army is done. So not only is the Amazo army done, not only is Trigon done, but they also managed to obviously concoct no, no concoct the cure to make sure that everyone is vaccinated and stuff like that. So everyone in the world is completely safe because Flash, Superman, they went around the world and they cured everyone. So everyone is cured. Except for the people who are who are gone, like Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, stuff like that. So the main heroes, unfortunately, are gone, and all we are left with is obviously Cassie, Jonathan Kent, Damian Wayne, Green Canary, and Cyborg and stuff like that. And there's also like a really so when everything is safe and sound, and like the whole world is cured, and there's a really touching moment between Jonathan Kent and Pa Kent, who was infected, but he didn't die. Pa Kent was actually locked in the basement, and there's a touching scene between these two. Like wow, like Jonathan Kent seeing his grandson, and there's like a touching a moment between them where it's like where Grandpa Kent is like, wow, John, like you've really grown. So I was like, oh, it was a really lovely and touching moment, seeing Grandpa Kent watching his grandson grow up and become Superman, and and we also see there's also a great moment between Dinah, Green Canary, and Green Arrow, who Green Arrow was previously infected in the last issue, but he didn't die, so he's cured. And there's a really touching moment, between Dinah and Green Arrow, which was just like, oh, as a fan of Green Arrow and Black Canary, it was really like a cool sight to see them, reunite and have that special moment between them, and the fact that they survived, and the devil's dead, the world is cured, and most of the heroes who survived in this book live on they go on to live another day, and that's how Deceased issue 7 wraps up. The world's cured, and everyone is safe and sound. So I think my only complaint would be that it kind of wraps up a little too quickly. It kind of wraps up a little too neatly, like wrapped up in a nice little red bow. But other than that, I mean, I can't really complain. Like this issue was great. It was fantastic. Every character got to have their own moment, not in just this issue, but in Deceased and the Unkillables. I mean, this entire Deceased run has been just phenomenal. It's been fantastic. And like I said, Tom Taylor delivered another great DC book. So if you're a fan of zombies, if you're a fan of DC, if you're a fan of like, gore and stuff like that, and just, great badass moments between each and every character in the DC catalog, I would highly, highly recommend Deceased. It's a great book. And this finale, Deceased issue number 7, was fantastic. So I highly, highly recommend it. So, but yeah, those are my thoughts. Smash the like button, my beautiful DC brothers and sisters. Subscribe. Hit me up on Twitter, Instagram. Let's continue having a DC conversation as always. Support DC, love DC. What did you think? How did you feel? Or did you read Deceased issue number 7? Let me know in the comments down below, and let me hear your thoughts. And as always, love you guys. Be safe. And yeah, Deceased, what a great, great run. Tom Taylor just delivered another DC classic. So yeah, as always, truth out.